Good day everyone, welcome to our part 2 series on Are We in Economical Downturn? In part 1, we touch base on the positive news of Singapore opening up borders, and with this action, we are all going to get heavy influx of population increase until 2050. With these in mind, Singapore is still expanding their transport system together with the deep slashes of COE supply as to facilitate Singapore in keeping their land supply for better profitable use. If you are wondering what did you miss, do feel free to see the part 1 so that you can understand the flow in the topic and you're going to get the gain insights even more. So let's look at inflation. I can sum up easily in the chicken and egg story. Don't worry, I won't ask you guys which came first, the chicken or an egg. But before the chicken and egg illustration, let's look at interest rates. From March 2018 to December 2018, we can see that the Fed has increased the interest rates in trying to improve the economy. From then to 2019 to just slightly before COVID-19, in about March 2020, they had to decrease the interest rates to curb the rising trade tensions. And now, as we are here in the year 2022, in the COVID situation where at those times it has peaked, and it has also passed us in this year of 2022. So what is the Fed doing now? Practically, is they have to increase the interest rate in order to sustain the economy. The only reason why they must increase the interest rate is that the Fed can make the borrowing more expensive so that consumer and businesses will hold off in making any investment and therefore cooling off the demand and hopefully making the prices come down. Remember, with inflation comes higher costs of the prices. As such, of the many ways is to increase the interest rate in hope that the consumer can procrastinate their purchases, to tighten their belts a little and spend less, so the demand will come down just enough for the demand and supply to be in the equilibrium. Remember, in the part 1 sharing, I have touched on demand and supply, and that will give you good reasons why we need to bring the prices back to balance. With rising interest rate now, equities will plunge down. And that's what you've been seeing all of these days. And have we actually touched the bottom yet? Well, to me, I'm not sure. But I'm still keeping my monies invested in the market. Let's look at this equity slide just a little. The USA S&P 500 is generally in the upward trend, regardless of any setback. Even during the days of the dot-com crisis or the Lehman Brothers, the prices will take a dive like now. And in times ahead, you can see the trend is generally in the upward trend in the long run. So you may ask me, is this the right time to invest now? Let's briefly look at the Hong Kong sector first. In the Barron's article dated July 8, 2022, some of the Hang Seng blue chips have lost almost half of its value in 2021, leading losses in a sector that was hammered by regulatory pressures on both sides of the Pacific. So now looking in both USA and the Hong Kong market, I can see that the Hang Seng sector might outperform the USA sector in the short term as both continents have been extremely pressed over months. Now, hold on to all of those in mind. I'm coming to a point here. Remember, I told you a while back that inflation is high and the government needs to step in order to reduce the demand in hope to reach a balance in the price. As such, as they need to continue the interest rate until the government can stabilize the economy. Now, coming back to Singapore properties, in relation to the interest rate and the property price, take a look. There is a correlation between inflation and the house's price. In fact, there is a strong correlation between inflation and any products or properties with limited supply here in Singapore. To illustrate, consider an economy that has a money supply of only $10 and 5 identical houses in the whole economy. Each house would have been priced $2, assuming there's no other goods in the economy. So $2 each. Now, suppose the central bank decided to print more money and the money supply expands to $20. So each house would have been priced $4 to make it 20. In this simple example, increasing the money supply has just caused an inflation of the house $2 each to $4. And let me show you the report in how many times have the economy printed out money. Let's look at the context in Singapore market in reference to America putting in more monies to the market. Seeing from the chart, in every announcement of pumping cash to the economy, prices of properties do come down initially and they usually bounce out nicely to where we are seeing now. So when there's an inflation, the property price do increase and the Singapore government knows this very well. Now let me show you this chart that will blow your mind off. Do you know how many times have the government introduced property-related cooling measures in the spectrum relating to property prices in Singapore to just cool down? Make a guess. Think about it. 5, 8, 10. Well, you're almost there. Singapore government has made at least 20 cooling measures in these properties in the general range from seller stamp duty, additional buying stamp duties, loan to value ratio, and of course the last one is the last living trust, ABSD, where all of us know about it. I would just like to pause here and just to keep you informed that if you need me to explain to you the effect on all of these measures on your current properties, do let me know, and I'm willing to share to you the implication in regards to your portfolio. So let's come back to conclude this segment. Here I've spoken the effect of inflation and interest rate and how to increase the value of your property and your rental price structure. For now in Singapore, we are still seeing robust growth. So I have two questions that would allow me to summarize on why we are still seeing robust growth in Singapore property prices, barring all external activities. The two questions are, first question, Singapore government has enforced more than 20 property-related cooling measures to the economy since 2010 and to date 2022. Now, have the government removed any of these measures? So if they have not done so, can you see where are the property prices leading to? Next, and the last question, the government took more than 12 years in accumulating these measures to cool off the market. Am I right? Now to bring the prices lower, when they start to remove the first cooling measure, all of the consumers that are sitting on the fence, whether to buy now or to buy later, will surely jump in. When they jump in, what will happen to our property price again? And can you comprehend when the government remove ABSD totally? I would think the market will jump in so aggressively where all the supplies will be wiped out and there'll be no homes left in Singapore. So these are the two questions I have posed to you for you to decide where the property price will head to. Well, I hope you have enjoyed my part 2 series on Are We in Our Economical Downturn? So stay tuned for the part 3, which will be my last part to this series. With that, I thank you.